Hello there, Meoni here. Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about tool mastery points and what they are. Effectively, once you have finished your first cosmic tool up to its maximum form in Oxessia, added in patch 7.51, I've just recently finished my Weaver. This is the first one that I've had the time to actually go and grind for. Looking very, very cool. You might be wondering, what can you do with this weapon or tool? Well, effectively, you can obviously use this as a regular tool to craft with in all parts of the game. In patch 7.51, they added the new custom delivery client as well for Auntie's Tacos, as well as other crafting stuff in the game, or gathering if you went for a gathering tool instead. But there is actually another form of an end game, which is kind of like a test of your reflexes, so to speak, a test of your metal. And you'll see that once you have finished your first tool, you'll start to see this button. You won't see this unless you have actually completed a tool. So obviously, I've completed the Needle of the Stars here for 780 item level tool. Very cool stuff. But that's for Weaver. And as you can see, we've got our normal basic, provisional, critical, and tool mastery missions. And you'll see that there are 3 missions per class, and this does not change. The only thing that does change is obviously which one has a bonus on it. The bonus will grant you extra points and things like that, right? That's the advantage of doing the bonus. But you'll notice that this one gives 3,570 base tool mastery points, this one 2,890, and this one 6,080. It also rewards you a good amount of Cosmo credits and Oxessia credits, as well as the Oxessia exploration tokens. And you'll notice that on some of them, for example, this Star Admiral's ornamentation here gives us 80 as a base, which is quite a lot. If we compare that to something like a provisional mission, an EX Plus, that gives 17. So these are a lot more exploration tokens per thing. So that gives you even more of an incentive to actually go and do them over any other EX Plus mission. The way these work then is effectively you'll see that you're earning points, and the points are distributed based on a time limit. So if we were to go to the help menu, you'll see there's a new section on tool mastery missions. They say tool mastery missions are only available to those who have completed a cosmic tool. Unlike normal stellar missions, the aim is to achieve the highest possible score within an allotted time. These missions include multiple intermediate objectives, whose completion bonus include extension of a time limit, additional use of actions, and increased evaluation scores. So effectively, your points are granted to you based on how well you do within a time limit. And if you complete certain objectives within that time limit, you'll get granted bonuses to the amount of points that you earn, as well as actions will be returned to you, as well as GP as well. So if we use this example then of me crafting the Star Admiral's coat fabric using some macros here to do this mastery mission, you'll notice that the current score objective is 2,000 points, and of course we have a 100% multiplier. If we were to complete this, it does say we get another 2 minutes 30 on the clock added, as well as another charge of material miracles, so this would be our duty action increased by 1, and another 50% score multiplier. So the further we go through these objectives, the easier it will be to get points. Once the objective is updated and completed, you'll notice that we have some new objectives. So the first objective has been completed at that point. If we wanted to, we could quit out of these menus and literally turn in the mission and just get our rewards, the base rewards. But if we continue and do at least the second objective, which is 3,500 points in this case, we would actually gain another 5 minutes 30 on the clock, 3 more charges of material miracle or our duty action, and 50% extra score multiplier. So this is how you would get your high scores. And once we complete the second objective, we can just cancel out of this, of course, and just turn it in for our rewards. And you'll notice that no other sort of time is added to the clock beyond this point. We can just keep going for another 7 minutes 24 until the clock runs out, and that will be our high score, our score that we are setting. And effectively, that's a way of testing yourself to see how many points you can earn within that allotted amount of time. Once completed, then you see that my current score is 8,920. I ran out of time there. I could have just cancelled a little bit before that, but you'll see that Objective 2 has a tick there next to it. So that's an extra 3,500 points, and our high score has been set as well. So instead of getting 6,080 points for that Star Admiral's ornamentation, we actually got 27,116 mastery points, 120 of our Cosmo credits, and 108 with that increased bonus there to Oxessia credits. You'll also notice we got 80 of the Oxessia exploration tokens. Those do not increase depending on your score. Those will be a flat rate regardless. So if you wanted to just work on exploration tokens, technically you could just do the first objective, quit out, turn in the quest and get your tokens, and then just do it again. But if you're going for points, you want to do at least the first 2 objectives before turning it in. And if you really want to go that extra sort of, distance, then you could do beyond those 2 objectives, try and fit in as many points as possible and set a high score. Now, bear in mind, 27,116 points is pretty good actually for one craft, considering all we need is 500,000 points for the new title. And there are new titles added to the game for each of the individual classes, so all of your Disciple of Hand and Land. And they are all effectively named the same thing. So Star-Powered Carpenter, Star-Powered Leatherworker, Star-Powered Weaver, etc. And they are all basically that. But 500,000 Tool Mastery points will get you those titles. Beyond that, there is actually a reward for doing all of them, all of the Tool Mastery points at 500,000. And that is a very strange tabletop housing item that we can actually use the furnishing preview system to look at, which is the Oxessian Tower Replica. This is crafted by an artisan of a Cosmic Exploration Initiative. This miniature model is used to analyze Oxessian architecture. So instead of getting a mount reward, similar to how we got the black mobile suit sort of awesome mech before, you get a tabletop housing item. Yeah, so you get a bunch of titles that you might like or you might dislike. Personally, I think the 500,000 points for the previous stuff anyway, like the actual Cosmic class score, was way cooler. I mean, come on, how can you compete with Forger of Stars? That is pretty badass, at least I think so. But they are easier to get. The Tool Mastery points, as you can see, the multipliers do rack up quite a lot and do actually get done quite quickly. If you were to start doing the Tool Mastery points, you would get 500,000 on all of them before you would get your class score, your Cosmic class score, up to 500,000 points. So there is a bit of a difference there. You do actually get some class score from doing these as well. You are effectively killing 2 birds with 1 stone. However, the rewards are subjective. You might like this, or you might think it's just another thing that you might not bother doing. Personally, it's the sort of thing I will probably dabble in when I get some free time, but it's not something I would focus on, especially since this tabletop housing item doesn't necessarily tick the same boxes to me personally as, say, a new mount would. But if you're wondering if there were any new 500,000 point rewards, there are. There's a new Tool Mastery system, but is it worth it? That is the question. But that's basically the Tool Mastery system, an interesting addition to the last part of the Cosmic Exploration Initiative. I'm looking forward to seeing how this wraps up storyline-wise. There is a lot of questions that need to be answered from a lore perspective, and I hope they touch on those. But so far, it's pretty much more of the same, just with another point grind at the end if you want a tabletop housing item and some titles. But that's about it. Anyway, let me know if you've got these yet, and if you think this is worth it, or if you, like me, prefer working towards mounts instead. Much love. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. I've put the macros I use for the master recipes on screen there, but that might be a little bit annoying to have to pause to actually write that stuff down. One of the options you can do is use a calculator website to make your own macros based on your own stats, such as Raphael-XIV.com. I'm not affiliated with that. It is a free-to-use calculator website. You just put in how much craftsmanship, control, and CP you have, and then choose the recipe, and it's been updated, I think, with all of the recipes from 7.51 anyway, including custom deliveries as well as the Cosmic stuff, and then it will create macros for you. But as a better way of me sharing macros with you that I've already made, basically we've got the configuration sharing menu under system. This was something that was added in patch 7.5. What we can do is if I upload here Mio's UI and macros, and then press the upload data button. This will give us a share code, and if you want to, all you need to do is type that code in and you can download parts of my UI, my macros, anything you want. I'll put this in a comment in the description rather box if you want this, but effectively all you would need to do is basically post that into the download apply settings button and press that. And then you would be able to have this menu where you select what you want. So instead of just having everything, you could be like, oh, I want some of the macros or something. So you go for individual macros and done, right? But bear in mind, if you already have stuff, this will overwrite it. So you might want to think twice. But again, you know, making your own macros isn't too difficult with calculator websites if you'd rather.